The first Ace Attorney game has a boring protagonist. Now, Phoenix isn't boring because he's a bad character to play as, he's boring because as a protagonist he has no arc. He's almost the same character going in as he is leaving. In fact, he isn't even the main focus of the game's story. If we took the previous paragraph and changed it so I was talking about Edgeworth, everything would be the opposite. He has an arc. By the end of the game, he's almost completely different as a person. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is Miles Edgeworth's game. The final case almost completely focuses on him and his character, and to a lesser degree his relationship with Phoenix. A character arc has 3 acts, so let's focus on the 3 acts of Miles Edgeworth throughout Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I'm not going to talk about Edgeworth's appearance in Turnabout Memories in this video, as that's in Trials and Tribulations, and is actually a part of a way bigger story. So in this case, we first meet Edgeworth in the second case in the series, Turnabout Sisters. Sisters is one of the most important cases in the series because it establishes 2 of the series' main characters, Maya, and the focus of this video, Edgeworth. Before we even see Edgeworth in court, the game establishes who he is. Gumshoe tells Nick that Miles Edgeworth, the undefeated prosecutor, is going against him in court. He's called the Demon Prosecutor. This tells the player that it's really go time now, and the case won't be as easy as it was before. When we finally meet him in court, confident that we'll be able to prove our defendant Maya Fey not guilty, we realize that the headlines were not lying. Edgeworth really will almost do anything to get a guilty verdict. Think you have an easy contradiction that can help your client? Well, Edgeworth will just update the autopsy report. It's a grueling trial for both Phoenix and the player, and that's just the first day. On the second day, we get a little more characterization from Edgeworth himself. He says he wants to win every case because we can't be certain if people are guilty or innocent, so better to be safe, right? We then find out that this isn't the first time Phoenix and Edgeworth have met, with Phoenix remarking that he's changed. On this day, Edgeworth really throws everything trying to get the new defendant, Phoenix, a person he apparently knew before this, found guilty. As you close in on the true culprit, Edgeworth even urges him to lie in order to make Phoenix look guilty. But in the end, Wright prevails, handing Edgeworth his first ever loss and really kickstarting his own career. The next case in the series, Turnabout Samurai, is when Edgeworth's development really starts to take off. There's not too much to note in the first day of the trial, but I'll talk about what's there. Edgeworth comes across as different on the first day, and it's mainly for one reason: Windy Oldbag. Oldbag flirts with Edgeworth for pretty much all of her screen time, and it really shows Edgeworth in a more comedic light, very different from the scary, undefeated prosecutor we met in the previous case. He doesn't even refute Wright, saying that she could possibly be the killer. Skipping over the second day, the final day of the trial is when something really snaps within Edgeworth. Wright is in a lot of trouble here. The witness, who he implicated as the killer, D. Vasquez, is shutting him down at every turn, and the judge is ready to hand down a guilty verdict on the defendant Will Powers. And then...
Objection! Objection!
These 2 moments allow Phoenix to find the contradiction in Vasquez's testimony and win the case, much to everyone's confusion. This change in Edgeworth's character is cemented after the trial, in which we learn that thanks to Wright, he is saddled with unnecessary feelings. Nothing inappropriate, just unease and uncertainty. I believe that the uncertainty he refers to is a complete change of his belief system. He's realizing the wrong of his past ways, but he still needs time to accept that. In a surprise twist that I don't think any first-time player saw coming was Edgeworth's role in the 4th and final case. The intro seems to infer that he murdered someone. Needing to protect his senpai, Wright offers to take his case but is rejected. Why? This chapter reveals most of Edgeworth's backstory and motivations. We find that Edgeworth has a connection to a case that we've heard about before, the DL6 incident. Now, we didn't know much about this besides the fact that it was linked to the disappearance of Mia and Maya's mother, but it turns out that Edgeworth was right there, witnessing the incident. His own father was the victim of the case after he, Edgeworth, and a court bailiff, Yanni Yogi, got trapped in an elevator after an earthquake. After Phoenix reveals what he's learned about DL6, Edgeworth agrees to have him as his defense. Miles' father was Gregory Edgeworth, a defense attorney. Miles really looked up to him and wanted to become a defense attorney just like him, a stark contrast to what we've seen of Edgeworth so far. What could have changed? We find out the reason for that change very shortly after, as the prosecutor for this trial is Manfred von Karma. He's like Edgeworth in Turnabout Sisters, times 1,000. He acts like he owns the place, and the judge seems to agree. It just so happens that he was Edgeworth's mentor when he was learning to become a prosecutor. Throughout this extremely long and grueling trial, Phoenix has to fight tooth and nail, and sometimes literally fight, in order to gain any ground. In fact, Edgeworth would have been found guilty if not for a last-minute save by his and Nick's friend, Larry Butts. That's right, it's revealed that Phoenix, Nick, and Larry all went to school together, and someday, somebody stole all of Edgeworth's lunch money. The entire class believes it's Phoenix, even the teacher. But he didn't do it. Who else to prove him not guilty than our friend Miles Edgeworth? At this point, his father is still alive. It gives us a glimpse into the type of person he once was, even as a kid. Always looking for the truth. A parallel to Phoenix. After many twists and turns that eventually involves the retrial of the DL6 case, we find out that Edgeworth truly believes he mistakenly killed his father right after he threw a pistol at the two other men in the elevator. This right here proves that Edgeworth's arc is one of self-redemption. The reason he fell into Von Karma's grasp and truly started to be the person he was previously is because he couldn't live with the fact that he killed his own father. Or so he believes. Through many more twists and turns for Phoenix and his partner Maya, they finally reach the point where Edgeworth is about to be proven guilty for the DL6 incident. He even implicates himself for the murder of his father. And then Phoenix pulls a Phoenix and decides to trudge forward before he actually thinks about it, saying that Von Karma is the true killer. Phoenix proceeds to take a couple of educated guesses that turn out to be true, and even present some evidence to really corner Von Karma. As it turns out, Von Karma is truly guilty in the murder of Gregory Edgeworth. Edgeworth is acquitted from both cases in the end. I believe that the end of Von Karma signifies the end of the bad person in Edgeworth. In his next appearance in Rise from the Ashes, he truly redeems himself, constantly searching for the truth along with Phoenix, as opposed to against him. Like I said at the start of this video, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is Miles Edgeworth's game. The primary conflict revolves around him, and he has a full contained character arc. You play as Phoenix, but by the end of the story, you're probably more invested in Edgeworth. I'd just like to say thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already if you'd like to see more content. I was thinking about making a video where I rewrite Apollo Justice without Phoenix in the story, as a lot of people wonder how that would go, and I've actually been really interested in doing that as well. So please like and comment down below if you'd like to see that. Have a good one.